All right, so let's just open up with how long have you been streaming for? And then on top of that, how long have you been streaming on Mixer if you're on another platform before?
Yeah, I started on Twitch in like 2015 because I had some like really goofy side projects on YouTube, and I noticed all my YouTube friends started streaming. So it's like I thought that was like the natural evolution of what you're just supposed to do. You start out making YouTube
Yeah.
content, and then eventually you go to live streaming.
In
Um,
2015, that was what you did. Yeah,
oh
that
yeah,
was
and
really good.
that's when I started doing it. Is like 2015 is when probably like all of the YouTubers I connected with were moving to Twitch because like the interactivity, like you could get instant feedback, and then obviously the
Yeah,
income was way higher than anything they could make otherwise.
yeah, yeah.
Um, because like even if you get like a $5 dono, if you're a small YouTuber, that's more than you'll make in 6 months.
Right.
So that was what they did, and then it was Halloween. It was Halloween in 2016. I saw Tidy stream on Beam.pro, and I had never seen anything like interactive before in my entire life, and it
Uh-huh.
blew my mind. So I joined Mixer after seeing Tidy. But I only watched for 3 months. Like I was just a viewer for 3 months because Twitch had kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. Just got a
What
lot of
happened? Oh,
it's
yeah,
just
what happened?
like it was a lot of trolls. I had a hard time
Mm,
networking. I felt like it was really hard to be interesting because like there was an ocean of people on
right.
Twitch, like so many, and it's just like it felt like I was trying to swim to the surface and I had like a weight around my ankle. And then I
Yeah,
came to
yeah.
Beam and it's like there's no it was a really teeny weeny community, especially like the creative community. Hi crabs. How are you crabs? But it was like a teeny weeny little family, especially like when it was just in like the Beam.pro days.
Yeah,
So I realized everyone was so nice. Everyone was so eager to help, which was weird on the internet. There's a bunch of
right.
people willing to help you and were nice.
Yeah.
So then I watched for 3 months. I watched Tidy and I watched his name was I Am Batman by back then. His name is Jared
Okay.
FPS now. But I was watching
Hey,
Tidy and I
he
Am
lives in my
Batman.
city.
Huh?
We live in the same city.
What?
Anyway,
Wow.
I don't really want to say any more of that because I don't want to dox this dude. But yeah,
Kyle! Hi
but
Kyle!
so you said it was hard to stand out on Twitch, even in your specialized. You do a specialized thing. You're in makeup and you do body paint, and special effects, things like that.
Yeah.
So
Well,
even there,
back
it was hard to stand out on Twitch.
back on the Twitch days, I didn't have anything really different besides being weird. Like I had my kind of like I'm loud. I had bright red hair. I was really
Oh,
friendly.
oh,
I
another
made
one of
really
those, huh?
really dumb jokes. Yeah, exactly. I have my crazy colored hair and I'm a funny girl. Hurdy hurdy her. That's all I had on Twitch. And I was doing like Goat Simulator and what was it? What was it? It was like it was Teleglitch Die More
Oh,
Edition.
yeah, yeah.
I was streaming
Okay.
from like my MacBook. Like it was like there wasn't a lot unique searches for Twitch. Oh, I still, for some reason, like even though I was never like a Twitch affiliate or anything,
Uh-huh.
there is still footage of me tipsy playing Goat Simulator. Shatner's thanks for the host.
Oh,
It's
that'll
still
be brought
there.
up like forever.
And
So yeah, that
there's
never
still
goes away.
me doing Sims. I did like Sims 4, and I was like laughing because I was trying to like make a women's club, like a ladies club, and there was someone that I thought looked cute, and I realized it was a dude, so I just swapped their gender on the spot. And
There you go. Did you end up having a Sims murder camp? That's usually my go-to whenever I play The
so
Sims.
I did, but my friends that watched that stream were well, they're kind of like delicate little ladies, and they
Ah,
were they were really genuinely disturbed with me, so I had to stop doing that. But I loved making like the murder camps in Sims because you could get so creative. Like also like if you have an entire household that's just ghosts, you just kill off the family one at a time, and then their
right.
ghosts get mad.
Yeah,
Watch
yeah,
those
yeah.
VODs now. Yeah, there's like three or four
That's
at
what
least clips left.
that's what everybody does with The Sims,
Yeah,
right?
you
We're not
figure
we're
out
not weird.
and then
All right,
as
cool.
they make the update so it's harder to kill people cuz like it used to be make murder yeah, dude. Get on my
So I
level.
don't need to go talk to my therapist. All right, I think we're
No.
okay.
It's like you totally did that right. And like they keep making ways so it's harder to kill people, but then like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like challenge accepted. I can do this.
Yeah. So then, when did you get into the make? Okay, well, let's go a little bit first into the background of makeup and special effects and painting. When did you start getting into art? I guess. Word it
Well,
like
art.
that.
So I had done multimedia art, which is like when you
Hmm.
take stuff that isn't traditionally like supposed to be on a canvas. So like I would take a canvas, but then I would use like burnt out matches. I would use egg cartons. I would stitch into the canvas. So I've been doing multimedia for like 10 years.
Yeah.
But the body paint started as like a joke project. Like I don't know if you've ever seen the dude who's like budget cosplay. He's like dollar cosplay kind of.
I don't think so.
He is so funny because he'll take like, I don't know, like some dude from an anime and he'll use like toilet paper rolls and like felt swatches and stuff. I was look at the murder camps thing. But he would take like really cheapy kind of crappy stuff, but it would be like a recognizable cosplay. And I was like, okay, I want to do, the company that I was with at the time made YouTube videos, and at first I was just doing their marketing, and they're like, okay, we want you on camera, so you get to have your own series.
Are you a female in our company? Yep, you're going to be on camera.
I was the only female in the company. Yes! Yes, nice observation. I was the only female. They're like, okay, you're friendly, we're a bunch of grumpy dudes doing video games, and it's a different energy. So I was like, I want to do dollar cosplay videos, and I want them to be bad but funny. And like my intro to the videos was literally, if you came here to learn something, you're come to the wrong place because I'm just here to be an idiot. So I did a Titan from Attack on Titan, and it looked absolutely horrible as I expected. But like I looked at it and I felt super bummed out because I was like, wow, that really does look crappy though. Like it looks like I didn't even try. So I decided to go ahead and actually try. And then when I actually tried, I got a response that was surprisingly positive. And then I saw, there's this one artist, and I have her brush set. It's like the first like body paint brush that I ever got. Made you look on YouTube. Her name is Alexis Fleming. She had this tutorial it was called like Heartbreak or like Love Letters or something. But it looked like
sounds like a YouTube makeup tutorial.
Yeah, but like she made it look like her skin was paper. Like there were pieces of paper that were like resting on her skin, and it blew my freaking mind. Like the illusion that you could accomplish.
Yeah.
So it went from like kind of a joke project to like, oh, I can, I don't have to be jokingly bad. I don't have to be like just the cute girl on the internet that's, so bad it's funny. Which kind of like, that was where my personality in the company, that's where like my persona on camera was turning into that, and I didn't really get it anymore. Like, we just had this big, long running joke where it's just like, oh, Hannah's naive, and she's kind of stupid, and she forgets things, and she's bad at games. And that's only charming for, like, 6 months before you realize that that's how really people view you. And it's not the freshest thing for a girl to do online.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so then it developed into this because I realized I could become obsessed with it. And I didn't know that I could love something this much. But it's like when you figure out that you like something. Sorry, my phone's beeping. And it sounds corny, but it feels like it's my purpose now. So now I want to do FX, like, full time at some point would be nice.
Yeah. So how'd you handle the transition for like stereotype personality, giggly, bad video games girl to the brand and persona that you have on now? Like what steps did you take to try to distance yourself from that old personality that they popped up?
It's kind of began my separation from the company that I was with. Like I loved the guys that I worked with. I had known them since I was a teenager, but I realized like my people's association with me in the company was called Human Echoes, and it's still around, but just I'm not a part of it anymore. I didn't want to associate myself with them because if you look at the footage with stuff that I've done with Human Echoes, I'm playing up that character because and I feel like whenever you're streaming and like whether you're streaming a game or whatever, we all have like a camera personality. Like we're kind of exaggerated versions of ourselves, and so like the exaggerated version of myself was just kind of like funny and sarcastic and ditzy. Stream face. Yeah, exactly, Pixie. Yeah. All of us have a stream face. Like, if you see me in person, I'm extremely quiet. I don't like people looking at me, which is weird because I'm a streamer, but, like, I don't like people looking at me in person. I want to be left alone with all my jobs. I just want to work and, be in my little corner. But, yeah, just separating from them and trying to put more rigid rules down for myself on the stream as well. But, yeah.
Yeah. So you're able to make a clean break because it was leaving a company and then starting up this new thing.
Yeah, and part of that is like it eventually led to us like really separating. Hi, Raver. It kind of led to the ultimate separation just because there was this weird feeling of they knew that I didn't really want to be completely associated. I wanted my own separate thing. Right. Because I honestly feel more respected in my community than I did with theirs and you can't blame them because it's like again. it's the persona that I had put out in the early
Yeah,
content. So
yeah, for sure.
good. How are you, Raver?
Yeah. So then, when did you start doing the painting and the makeup and FX stuff on stream? You said you started with video games. So when was that transition?
That was I decided to go ahead and apply for partner because I thought that I finally had a chance, and I felt like my concurrent was still lower than it was back in the days when they only wanted 30 concurrent.
So 1 second, you applied to partner before you started doing makeup streams.
Yeah,
What
like
do
I
I
had
call
been.
these? Makeup streams? Is that okay?
Huh? Oh yeah, no, it's
All right,
fine.
cool.
It's like whenever Magnetron describes me, he's like, she puts crap on her face, and I'm like, oh, thanks. that's a
Some
little
people
bit.
ask me if you still have Waluigi on your face today. I'm like, I hope not.
You should see her. She
Ugh.
puts all this. She puts crap on her face. Yeah, no, that's fine. Because it is makeup. She puts the googly eyes. Oh, and I do. I have two freaking humongous ones. I think my son.
We'll get to those later.
Yeah. But yeah, about a month before. Yeah, I think it was about a month before I started like applying for partner. I finally got the guts to try to do SFX streams because back in like, oh boy, what was it? It was like early 2017. Yeah, it had to be because I recently had my 1-year partner anniversary. The creative community, if you think it's small now, like there's not a lot of us. There's like, there's 2 beer brewers, there's like 3 musicians. It's a pretty small pool. Back then, it was basically Queen of Art. And Cooley, I think, used to do like, ukulele and stuff. But it was a teeny weeny pool, so I didn't know how people would react to something like special effects makeup because, I mean, all the time, like even I would get kids coming in saying like, "What are you doing on here? Like, this is for games." Devil did keep saying anyway. It's true. But I wasn't sure how people would respond to it. So it was in then May of 2017. I had the guts to finally I had the guts to finally try doing SFX, and I tried doing Thanos on stream. He ended up really disgusting looking, but the response, like I got a bigger crowd than I ever expected in my entire life. And quickly I realized, and like that's part of like why like my streams, it's not uncommon for stuff to go wrong and for us to just go and roll with it going wrong, because people are still going to respond to something unique because it's an experience. You're still going to remember it. Like that's part of just like streaming for me is it's an experience from everyday life. Like you're not going to remember your car ride home. You're not going to remember like shopping for groceries, but you might remember if somebody, turns into Tom Selleck when they meant to turn into Angelina Jolie.
I was going to ask, do you have any specific examples of when something went wrong and you had to roll with it?
Yeah,
that may have been one.
We were I was trying to do Angelina Jolie one time, never again. Freaking never again. But we spent
it's like triple lips, right?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was it. Like the main feature, we were making these silicone lips.
Yeah.
Oh, I misread that as spanked me, Raver. It's like, I haven't spanked you yet, Raver. I mean, what? But anyway, we were trying to do these silicone lips, and we spent like 2 hours on we spent like 2 hours on them. And I made the mold, we, chatted, we were planning this whole thing. I started doing beauty makeup, and then we pulled the lips out of the mold, and they looked unnatural. Like, to say they looked unnatural, they looked like they should never belong in any human being.
All right.
So at that point, though, we could have just ended stream because there's no way you're going to be Angelina Jolie without lips.
Right,
but somebody in chat actually recommended, hey, the top lip kind of looks like a mustache. Like, and when you think about it, like, yeah, like an exaggerated upper lip is the shape of a mustache.
Yeah, that's all it is. Just longer.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, it's a furry lip. So I just glued it onto my face. We painted, I did like these different colors. I did like varying, like thin stripes to make it look like a mustache. I had like a tacky, brightly colored t-shirt. And then I turned it into Tom Selleck. And now it is the longest running joke. I even have one of my favorite people, one of my subs, actually, he printed out a Tom Selleck head for me at his place of work. And we put googly eyes on it. And now I use it every single stream. So it's stuff like that. Just like embracing the derp has probably carried me the farthest. What? This is wet and I'm not sure why. There's something.
I hope that's not a phrase you say often. Anyway.
Gosh.
So how do you get chat involved with makeup and special effects? Because it's not quite like playing a video game where you can say, hey, come join me and party up with me, or hey, like, here's how I'm doing this. So what sort of things do you comment on, and how do you get chat involved in your makeup streams?
Requesting, SFX streams. Like, constant feedback. And, like, I feel like whenever people come into a stream into the makeup, exactly right. I feel like when people come in and they see you doing art, a lot of people are a little bit delicate about it, like they're worried about offending you. But
Yeah.
if I notice that I'm starting to do a paint and it reminds me of like something unflattering, then you bring it up first and you say like, oh, this kind of looks like Elmer Fudd or something. Or like whenever I put on a bald cap and stuff, it's like, look at me, I'm a potato. Like you constantly asking like, oh, doesn't this look like this? And like I feel like it's such, and I mean, shoot, there's a lot of like Xbox kids that are gonna say it anyway, but like encouraging bad feedback and encouraging the jokes and just like everything is welcome, because I consider every makeup a group project. Every time we make something on stream, I never say, oh, hey, I turned into Captain America. It's we turned into Captain America, because the entire process is dependent upon feedback. And now that I'm partnered, now it's like subscribers. I always put a vote up. I have like a subscriber lounge in my Discord. And I always have subscribers vote on, like, anybody can request characters as well. Like, I have a character request channel, and then I pull from character requests, and I put a vote up for subscribers. So I've made it a necessity for interaction, and I feel like people also want to always ask artists, like, oh, can you do this, or can you do that? And a lot of the time, you're closed off, like, because, you know, it's just, it seems weird because it is extra effort, but, like, I've made that type of, like, demandy pantsy and the jokes and the references and stuff, I've turned it into a necessity for what we do. Like, I couldn't do it without the bad jokes.
Yeah, for sure. So real quick, asking, how much time do you have here? Because this is, we're pretty talky here, and we're probably getting close to the time I had allotted. Do you mind if we go over?
Oh, no, that's fine. Yeah.
All right, cool. Just making sure first.
I
like,
use
oh
100
man,
words when 10 will do. You're fine.
like we're barely into the beginning of it, but I love it. It's totally fine. Yeah. So what are some of the more interesting things that you've gotten from chat? Like ideas that you would not have thought of that your viewers recommended? Like, oh, that's fantastic. What comes to mind?
Man. Oh shoot, man. I wish I had like pulled up some more pictures. Let me see. Well, there's been, I mean, like, so we had a whole 3-week process when we did Venom. And Venom is like one of the projects that, like, there's probably been 2 that I've done that I've been absolutely obsessed with, that kind of confirmed to me that this is just what I'm doing with my entire life.
I was gonna ask.
Oh, Tom
glad you're getting
Selleck dog.
into it.
Yes, Griffin, the Tom Selleck dog. Okay, so I did.
Hold on, I'll pin Tom Selleck dog. Let's get back to Venom and the other 2 good projects, because I want to know which favorite projects are.
Yeah, I go down a lot of rabbit holes. So throughout the entire 3-week process, like, I spent probably 40 hours total sculpting Venom. First, I started with like this hard clay. It's this red clay that's more expensive that they actually use in movies called Chavant clay. That is a straw wrapper, but it's red like this.
Okay.
But I was trying to, every time I had to do a brand new sculpt, we ended up with doing like 4 or 5 of them. Like, I had to trash it so many times. A lot of the time, like, just getting emotions from chat is one thing I wasn't expecting. Like, when you're sculpting a face, kind of getting somebody's instant read on, like, you know, he looks too docile, or, you know, he looks too human or something. I feel like the ultimate result of Venom, which, like, the Venom piece that we did is the whole reason I got a contract with facepaint.com, is because of Venom. And I probably would have ended up doing, he looks sad or happy. Yeah, exactly, Raver. Yeah, because there was a lot of time, like, so I don't sculpt evil very well, I discovered. Every time I try to do an evil
That's probably
character,
good. That's probably
like, they end up looking so soft. And I needed people in chat to be honest with me when I kept resculpting it, and they're like, his eyes are too round, or he looks too friendly. Like, my natural, like, as I'm working stuff, I'm trying to go with my gut, and it's freaking Venom, you know? And they're like, he looks happy to see me, like, and not like he wants to take me to Starbucks or something, you know? Let's read the comics together. You know, exactly. So I feel like the pestering, like, I require a lot of pestering to be pushed into the right direction. And the entire 3-week process, so like the sculpting and then trying to get the colors right. I made the teeth with thermoplastic. Like, every single step was basically like I was getting feedback from my community. And it was long and exhausting. Like, I would sculpt until my hands hurt, and I would only take a break until they didn't, and then I would go back to sculpting. Like, it was literally like the most obsessed I've ever been with a project in my life. Friendly neighborhood Venom. Exactly. That's what it was, though. Like, I kept making his eyes so round, and his smile was soft, and I needed people to phrase things for me, just being like, make it more angular, make it, you know, his eye had to be a thinner slit, and his teeth were like almost like humanish teeth. Like I thought making them big would make them scary, but I made these big chunky teeth that made it look like he was like freaking Barney the dinosaur or something. Like it didn't work, and I needed people to just It's helped so much too, just accepting criticism in general, because like that's something I've always had a problem with. Is I would hear criticism growing up, and you take it to heart, and you're like, oh, they just don't understand my art. I'm not going to let them. I feel like that's a mistake that artists make a lot too. Is like you don't take criticism because you're like, but this is my art, and they just don't understand, and like I don't want to lose my flavor. But like this whole thing has made me so much more open to accepting that. But anyway,
I had 1 year of art school and I failed out of it, so I'm just gonna take your word for it.
That taking an art class actually screwed up my process so hard. Like trying to listen to like how you're supposed to do things properly really jacked me up for like a year. I had to relearn what made me happy. Oh yeah, like I regret that. Like I wish now that I had only gotten like feedback from my friends and people like that would get like initial. I do words right.
We got it. Keep going. Keep rolling.
Get like initial reactions from stuff, but I kind of regret trying to get any like more proper education on doing art stuff, because I feel like just community eyes and like people that I trust.
That's an interesting take. I would think that I would have expected you took classes to help with the stuff, not just learned it naturally. So what resources did you use to learn sculpting and body painting and things like that?
It was library books and YouTube videos and experimenting.
Library books,
because like sculpting isn't as easy as you'd think it would be.
Yeah.
Like I like learning like wrinkles. Like I never would have guessed, except for like library books. I would not have known. Random hiccup. That when you're doing old age wrinkles, you need to make a bunch of freaking worms, and then you put the worms down, and then you make the worms connect to each other and say hi. Like, I'm pretty professional. Yeah, exactly, Raver. Also, I feel like when you kind of take classes and you look at stuff really proper, like it messed with my brain so much, because every time I try to go with my gut to something too, like I would just feel like, but that's not what they said to do. And same thing happened with my fiction writing. I used to write a lot of short stories, and taking a writing class really jacked me up. It made me really unhappy. Like I used to get praise over my writing. What was that?
Why'd you end up stopping writing?
Just lost the time for it. Like life happened fast. Like at first, like I was like dating my husband long distance, and I was working, and I was able to spend a bunch of time at the library, and I was able to submit my stuff to like short story contests, and I used to write a blog every single day, and then I moved to West Virginia where my husband was. Well, he wasn't my husband yet, but we moved over there, got married, got pregnant, moved to California. Like it was just like life happened so fast. I just didn't have time anymore.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
I'm just curious about that. Yeah. So, obviously doing really well at the SFX streams. What are some of your plans for the future? What are some things that you'd like to incorporate in your streams going forward?
I have a giant project that I want to do when I'm finally, because like I said, a giant potato, not quite River. It might end up being a giant potato, I don't know. But one of my biggest, like ever since I started streaming on Mixer, like I really wanted to do this. I want to make an entire suit, and I don't know if it'll be like a super suit or like a monster or whatever, but I want to design an entire suit with my community. And like I want to use like all the proper materials, so because like when you're learning SFX and you're poor, like you have to MacGyver a lot of stuff, and I want this to be like made of not MacGyver materials. Like what I do with my sculpts right now, or like my molds, I use hot glue for my molds. Like normally you would get like ultracal or hydrocal plaster, like the really hardcore stuff. You'd have like a whole garage cleared out so you could do the stuff properly. I don't have the time or the money or like the ability to clean up ultracal or hydrocal plaster, so I use hot glue, or I came up with this really funky trick where you freeze alginate. Like alginate is kind of like the jelly-like stuff that you put on someone's face when you're doing like a face cast, like this.
I'm just gonna take your word for that. Yeah.
But yeah, gotcha. Normally you use this powdered stuff called alginate, and you get the alginate wet, you put it on their face, and the alginate sets into like this really firm gel, and that's your mold, and you could put plaster in that. Well, alginate dehydrates really quickly. Like the water pulls itself from it really quickly, so it basically starts sweating. But I found out if you freeze alginate immediately after it's set, it can't dehydrate, and it's just set like this weird rubber. So I figured out some like really semi-ghetto, like really MacGyver-y type ways of getting that stuff done. And whenever I do this suit, I want to do it proper, but it's going to be like probably a 2-year long thing.
Jeez.
But that's one of my dreams. Also, I want to start visiting, and I already have like a bunch of streamer friends that'd be down for this. I want to start visiting all of my streamer friends and
Okay.
just throw
That's cool.
prosthetics on them and make custom characters out of all my friends.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah, that's my dream one day. I have a couple. I know Pixel Princess is gonna let me body paint her. I was talking like Robot Giggles about I would be able to airbrush her if she would do a cosplay, and just like I want to hit all my friends like in a leveling creative way.
That'd be a really that'd be a really cool thing to do. How much do you spend a month on art supplies doing your streams now?
Well, thankfully we get pretty consistent donos, but it was like, oh jeez, I don't know if Streamlabs gonna work for me. I want to say we spend a minimum of like $500. So I do like, besides my million jobs that I have, I also do Lyft and Uber. I also do this grocery delivery thing called Instacart, and I also do fast food delivery called Topingo. So I do all of these things because like, even though like we get a decent amount of donations, but like which is why like the facepaint.com thing was so huge, because that's going to be $150 a month that could go right back into SFX. That isn't just going to be me waking up at 5 a.m. to do Lyft and Uber, which would be nice. I want to say at minimum 500, like constant. Yeah, like I don't know, especially with how much I've been trying to stream, just. And like, I'm gonna need to make like a life cast soon, and it's just like a whole other one, and it's an expensive process.
Where does your motivation come from for all this? It sounds like you were just working yourself thin through all these different jobs and streaming and everything else. How do you manage to stay motivated for all of it? Excited for streaming?
It's my purpose. Like, as I know that sounds really corny, but like it's the only thing. Like the feeling when you're in love, like when you're early on, like really feeling in love with somebody, that's what Venom felt like. Like I was up working again, like until my hands hurt until 3 o'clock in the morning. I didn't even realize that it had hit 3 o'clock. Like I didn't even know it because I just couldn't stop myself. Like it's that, like it's just intense being in love feeling. And then of course, like you could feel miserable, like I can't wait till this stupid project is over, but then you just really enjoy it. And like I gave up a really stable, really well-paying salaried position because I didn't have the time to do SFX anymore. And I was like, the financial stability, like I will happily work. I'll work 60, 70 hours if I can do SFX rather than working. And this was like, you could work like only like 20 or 30 hours a week and get paid like, it was more money than I've ever been paid in my life. But even though I was being paid like so much more than I ever have, I was just like, my soul was empty, and I was like, I have to be, I cannot sign up to be unhappy indefinitely. I've never been able to do that. So instead, let's talk about that for just a second. What was that process like? How do you talk through that with your family and talk about that sort of thing? Very briefly, and then I ask my mother about herself, and that usually, because like for the most part, like my dad he calls himself undereducated. Like he barely finished high school. I don't even know if he finished high school, and his family always shamed him for not being like high achieving and overeducated. So for my dad, he's like, I don't care what you do, as long as you're healthy and you're happy. And he said he wants me to get a degree, but he said it could be a degree in basket weaving. It's just he never got one, so he wants me to. But he just doesn't care. My mom just doesn't understand how any of it works, and I try to explain to her, and she just kind of gets frustrated over it. So then again, like my mom, though, it's really easy to get her on a little side thing if I ask her about her books or her art or whatnot, and
Gotcha.
She'll go off on
What is it they think you do?
They're still confused. I've explained Mixer to them I don't know how many times. They're deeply confused, and I'll be like, they'll ask me, I don't know how much I'm making a not horrible amount of money with sub money every month, and I'll tell them how much it is, and they'll be like,
don't get into that.
And they'll be like, people are giving you that much money to do what on camera? And I'm like, it's makeup. It's like
nothing bad.
It's like, no, it's not. Because of course, like my mom will look up like streaming and whatever, and there's a bunch of stories about cam girls on Twitch and whatever. Like, no, it's like it's but yeah, my dad thinks it's just kind of like a web show thing, because he kind of used to do sort of a web show thing. And then my mom is just still kind of confused about the whole process.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
Thankfully, Ninja's the thing, so I can just point at my parents and be
Yeah, I
like
was
that, but I don't make that much money.
I'll do that.
That's kind of cool. So what sort of challenges do you run into as a IRL streamer, as an SFX streamer on Mixer, especially that gamers wouldn't run into? Like, what are some unique things that you have to deal with that other people wouldn't?
So I feel like, especially the past 6 months, there's been this kind of weird debate building over because I'm friends with a lot of like the bigger creative streamers,
Right.
but then I mod everybody I mod for, almost everybody is a gaming streamer. Maybe why. The cost definitely in the prep work, because we've had, and I feel like every creative streamer has had somebody, at least one person, tell you were given partner because you do creative streams. And there's this kind of this weird misunderstanding.
I can't eye roll hard enough for the camera to pick it up and to blur it out, but yeah, go on.
Yeah, oh no, right. Like me, Fourth Room Brewing also, all of us have some kind of story of somebody saying that we didn't work for it and that was just given to us.
Yeah, that's...
But the weird thing is like, here's the thing. If you are a unique streamer, if you are unique, you are more likely to get partnered. But the thing is creative streamers, like most of the time, it's a week of prep work. The cost is very, like Fourth Room Brewing, who brews beer on stream, it's $100 a stream for him minimum.
Jeez.
Venom costs $200. Like it's
you said it's $500 a month. That's a Xbox One X a month basically. Yep. So the costs aren't even sort of comparable.
Yeah, it's waking up at 4 or 5 in the morning to drive around drunk college kids in order to afford to do what I love to do. It's like it's so much more prep work. It's emotionally, and it's kind of a cliche like artist thing, but like it's emotionally draining to do it, and it's physically exhausting to do it. Because it's not just sitting still. It's trying to it's attempting precision while also being engaging. Fourth Room Brewing, he's walking for up to 8 or 9 hours. He's walking around his kitchen, lifting things and cleaning while attempting to be engaging. It's this whole other level. The amount of prep work is so intense. And then you can spend, I spent 3 weeks on Venom, and I stayed up until 3 in the morning most nights working on him until my hands hurt and I had to stop. And then you can post the workout there and then get DMs from people telling you that it's sloppy and that it's BS, that you're getting attention because you're just a female. Just stream it. Oh, exactly, Miller. Yeah, and then after stream,
I was going to bring that up. Yeah,
it's an hour of cleaning up and breaking down. I have about 3 dozen brushes. All of them need to be cleaned. They're all used. And then it's establishing what's left of your inventory and what needs to be replenished. It's just. It's an intense process, and it's the lack of perspective. But I would definitely say just the cost and the time and the emotional draining that goes into it. So I feel like because of also the irritation of the creative streamers versus the completely gaming streamers that don't understand. There's been this really strange us versus them mentality. That's rough. The more median amongst us are trying to just explain, because I feel like it's really easy to get offended and just be creative streamers just to be all you have to do is turn on the game and play it and that's it, and then the game streamers be you're given partner because you don't play games. And
the other side always has it easier.
It's so easy. Exactly. The grass is always greener. It's always easier for the gamers. It's always easier for the creatives. And Fourth Room and I will still joke because we're still salty. Sometimes if we're getting a lot of follows, Dan and I, who's Fourth Room, will be well, as the creative streamer, we're just given these follows, and I was just given I didn't even need an interview. They just saw the email, go ahead and either. Oh yeah, no, neither is easy. Exactly, because shoot, the people that again, the majority of the people that I moderate for, they're gaming streamers, and they put 12 hours at a time into their soundboards. You still have to network. You still have to post to social media. You still have to maintain all of your platforms. It's intense work either way.
Yeah. So what's networking like as a creative streamer? Is it much the same as gaming streamers, just with other creatives, or do you kind of mix around and network with both?
I have more fun. So I used to do when I just did gaming, I feel like I have more fun trying to network being creative. I was able to connect with one of my internet heroes. Oh, hey, speak of the devil. Hi, Dan. Dan, I was just talking about how we were just given partner and we didn't have to work for it at all. But I don't think if you've ever heard of Captain Disillusion. But Captain Disillusion, oh, yes. I was able to do a body paint of Captain Disillusion on stream.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
And like I was able to connect with one of my internet heroes because I was able to tweet a picture of myself as him, and since it was like art and it like I didn't like Photoshop my face onto his face, it wasn't creepy.
We'll say it's not creepy, sure.
Yeah, exactly. Like I didn't Photoshop my face onto you, but I painted your colors on my body. Be friends with me. Notice me, senpai. Yeah. No, I enjoy it. I feel like there's a lot of opportunities too, again, to kind of bridge the gap between like if you're a gaming streamer and you a creative streamer, you can play a video game that then the creative streamer can use that as a theme for. And I'd really love to see like more creative streamers like co-streaming with gaming streamers and kind of like bridging like that understanding. Which is something that I really love to do. Oh yeah, no, that's a project that I love to do. Like I would love to do with way more people, where like they're playing a video game and I could do a body paint inspired by it. Because it's going to help the understanding of both communities. Because I was in kind of this weird rut for a while, where like I was only visiting creative streams. I'm like, I'm only gonna tweet out creative streams. I'm still salty about something too. Like I love Mixer. I do feel like Mixer is trying to help creatives. I do feel like they're encouraging it. However,
that's the next thing on my list is what can Mixer do to help creatives. So finish your thought, and then we're going to talk about this more.
For sure. Channel 1 does not host creative streams. They only do gaming, and I think that is bring back and chill. And I even said I will manage freaking Chill Zone. I will handle everything Chill Zone. Give me Chill Zone. I will babysit it. I will like Chill Zone, for anyone who doesn't know, like on April 1st. Yeah, on April 1st there was this this April Fool's prank from Mixer where like they contacted us partners and they're like, okay, so if you were able to, let's see, having a Mixer issue. Oh, Raver's got it. Where they had this like there's Hype Zone, which is the most exciting, the top 10. So then they had Chill Zone for one day on April 1st, where it was like they're just hosting the calmest, chillest, the creative streams basically, and we freaking flipped over Chill Zone. We loved it. It was amazing. Yeah. Like there were people, like a bunch of kids that didn't even know that creative streams existed on Mixer.
Yeah.
And like everybody was getting a bunch of follows. And, it was amazing. It was so cool. Like there was even.
I hate it when companies do April Fools that are actually better ideas than most of their other ideas.
I know. It like. And again, like there was Eye Candy was doing hula hooping, and nobody knew that she did hula hooping, and there were a bunch of digital artists. I forget what the heck that we did. I probably glued something onto my face. I'm not sure. But like bring it back. Oh yeah, and like seriously, I will take on the full weight of Chill Zone. I don't have to be staff. Just let me do it.
As if you don't have enough in your plate already.
And I would take it on, because like also Mixer is one of the things too. Like again, like life is a series of experiences. That's what makes life full, is when really memorable, amazing, awesome stuff happens, and Mixer provides that on the regular. So I would happily take. I'll work 100 hours a week. I don't care. I will take on Chill Zone if they let me do it.
Yeah. Is there anything else you think that Mixer could do to help out creatives?
From what I've seen on the inside, like obviously I can't say it a lot because the butt load is empty.
Nah, we're just rounding up all these viewers to go tweet at Steineken and yell at him for the Chill Zone.
I genuinely, from what I have seen from the inside, I really feel like Mixer really does care about creatives. That's one reason I stuck around too. Is like there are people that I really adore, like on Twitch, like I call her the goddess of body paint, K-Pike Fashion. If I felt like Mixer didn't care about creatives, I would become like attached to K-Pike and become part of her community, and I would be on Twitch. But from what I've seen on the inside, they seriously I hope not. They really care about creatives. It's just, again, the Channel 1 thing makes zero sense to me. And if they would change that, because the thing about Mixer, like, they're pushing out that they appreciate a mix of streams, and if you really care about a unique community, then
it's in the name.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's part of the best part. So like, either give us Chill Zone, give us our own Hype Zone type thing, or swap Channel 1. That's like that's probably my only beef, because really like the staff that I've talked to and the people I've seen on the inside really seem to genuinely care.
So what's something they said or did that makes you think that?
Just people like really there's channels and stuff where like they want stuff from the artists. They want stuff like for social media. Like they want to see, what the creative people are capable of doing. Yeah. I just they're asking for it, I guess, is my main thing. Is they're asking for art and they're asking for that content. As soon as like there's people with lower concurrent than the requirements, although it is kind of a gray area if you're unique. That like if you're a creative,
We're not gonna get into that today because that's been a really big deal on Twitter today. So we're just gonna slide right past that.
Yeah, I've been like, I keep. It's like you go to Twitter, you open up that door, and it's people yelling at each other like, oh nope, I'm just
exactly. No,
I'm gonna go back to Facebook where my mom puts her memes about the flat Earth.
Oh, that's nice. My mom's supposed to Trump memes all day, so.
Oh, mine too. Hey.
Yay, living in the South, right?
But yeah, no, there's been some super salt on Twitter lately for chill zone.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. And again, like I'll do whatever it takes if they bring back chill zone. There's still people on like just daily still talk about that, bringing back chill zone.
Yeah,
but
so everybody heard that. Go tweet us.
And again, like since there are like creatives that are just getting partnered because they're so unique, and I feel like if they were just about gaming and they didn't want creatives, then it would be way harder for us. Because then we would be putting in the money and the energy and the hours and see no return.
Yeah. Oh. Uh-oh.
Just getting creators more notice. Oh, yeah.
You're back. So how long were you streaming before you... Let's talk about the application for Partner a little bit and that process. How long were you streaming before Partner? And then were you at their listed, like, goals? I know I just said we weren't going to talk about that, but fine. I guess I'm going to ask real quick.
Let me see. So it was... So it'll be October, November. So it'll be November, December, January. I started streaming in January of 2017. Oh wait, there's like this awkward time too. Like I applied for Partner, but it was shortly before the rebrand. So they all the staff was busy. They didn't have time to talk to me or anything. So I thought they had forgotten about me. And then I was messaging Jared FPS, and I don't know if I think maybe he had rebranded. I'm not sure if that was before or after he rebranded from I Am Batman. But he was like, I can't tell you anything. Just make sure you sign into Mixer, sign into Beam tomorrow. It's going to be lit. I can't tell you what it is, but just look. And then it was a couple days after the rebrand, I finally got, like my application still says, Dear Beam staff.
Yeah, that's funny.
But yes. And then what was the other part of the question? I forgot already.
Oh, it was how long until you got partnered. So was that weird asking them to say like, hey, I know I did a lot of video games before now, but by the way, I could be doing a lot more SFX stuff going forward. Do you have to explain that in your application, or they're just kind of like, you're good, just come on through?
Does it help to get involved with Mixer? Oh, they definitely take networking into account for sure. Because even like, oh wait, let me not like I'm like down my different rabbit hole.
It's okay. I have super ADD.
When I decided to apply, I went ahead and I decided I was going to do SFX on stream, but in my application, I made it sound like I was already doing SFX, but I was like, I'm just going to go whole ham. And the day that I sent my application in, I started doing SFX because I was like, if this is going to be my thing. And I was the first special effects artist on Mixer. Mixer, not the gamer site. Yeah. I basically put emphasis on like my community is going to be creative and we're going to build ourselves up into this. But that was a big part of the application actually, was just putting emphasis on I'm going to be a creative streamer, just so that they knew what the deal was right away.
Yeah.
Mixer's gotcha. Oh yeah, I hear that too, Ray. Absolutely. People think you can't do PC on Mixer.
What are some cool things your community's made, or that you may have made or assisted with together?
Okay. So
you can pull up pictures if you want to at this point.
Yeah, man. I wish I had pulled them up in advance too. I remember I'm like way more prepared.
No, it's okay. We are way off of my notes already. It's fine.
So one of my favorite parts of my community, you're not gonna be able to see this, but so I did a co-stream.
Do the thing where you hold your hand behind it, like the YouTube ads.
I did a co-stream with Fourth Room Brewing.
That kind of works.
Yeah,
okay.
He had a beer called it was called Ew. I think it was just called Ew or something like that.
Great.
So
How I feel about most beers, but don't.
It tastes like soap. But so I glued googly eyes onto my face, and then I used it's called SFX wax or Syn wax for synthetic wax.
Yeah.
It's like this moldable wax. You knead it in your fingers until it gets, I was gonna say moldy, but like like soft.
Yeah.
But I made it look like I had googly eyes embedded into my skin and they were pussy and oozing and green. So Zolliford, who is like one of my favorite people on here, is also an amazing artist. He did a doodle of this little dude holding a beer, and he has like googly eyes embedded in his skin. Also, this
I'll just like
picture.
tweet it out later. It's fine. We can do that.
There's also, I need to like explain the context for this next one because otherwise it's just downright disturbing. So I found this thing where
Great.
it's text
Let's
to
go.
speech. It's text to speech, and you can make your text when you make it talk, it could sound like Yoda.
Okay.
And so what I was doing naturally, what I had to do is I had to make it say Billy Mays commercial transcripts. And there's a lot of amazing Billy Mays quotes, like out of context. Like at the beginning of the beginning of some of them, he says like, "I love beautiful wood, don't you?" So naturally, I had to make Yoda say, "I love beautiful wood, don't you?" And Zolliford.
Of course.
Oh shucks! Now I'm not gonna be able. I know I can find it. I know I can. He drew Yoda as Tom Selleck with a word bubble saying, "I love beautiful wood, don't you?" And that was one of my favorite things. But I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna stick it on here.
It's all right. We can just fill until you're able to find that.
Let's see.
So, one cool thing about Mixer is the fact that it has the Firebond integration and the take over your control integration there. Have you ever thought about doing an art stream that's maybe a Microsoft Paint, like a interactive coloring book or interactive art stream, and let people take control of it? That's something I just thought of about 5 minutes ago, but go for it.
That's actually like that was one of my goals that like I haven't been able to figure out how to do it quite yet, but I wanted to do like an interactive board where like there's no plans for the character or anything, but there would be buttons for like, you know, fake blood or, you know, put a boil on or like add an eye. Like I had this idea for like this whole soundboard type thing where it's like they get to click on, and the buttons I would want to be like super expensive because for some reason people don't spend their sparks here. Like I have 20,000 sparks and that's a big deal to me. But yeah, I always wanted to do that. I just wasn't sure how to do it in a way that doesn't make it just look like a big old like, oh, I know, Raver, you probably have a million. That just didn't make it look like some kind of disgusting mush. There was one stream that we did where like we used a random facial trait generator to make a latex mask. Like I had my sculpt going, and we would just like click this random generator, and it would be like, you know, pointy nose. And and oh my gosh, it was really disturbing. Like, man, I don't find Billy Mays Yoda. I don't know where he stuck him.
Yeah.
I found him.
Okay, all right, let's see it.
Let's see if I can grab him. Let's see, worst case scenario. Let's cheatsy doodle.
Yeah. So let's see. What can I ask about? Well, I don't really want to. I have no.
Uh-oh, I think I had you cut out.
Cool, and SFX, they like or musicians or things like that.
Oh, sorry, you cut out for a minute there. Can you hear me?
Lost you for a second. There we go.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
What was the question?
I said, are people in your community also SFX artists, or are they mostly different types of art, like music or painting or stuff?
I feel like since the creative community is still pretty small on here, we've all kind of like been like sticking to each other because we all know what it's like. But yeah, I've become like as soon as I find another creative streamer, I'm immediately just like, okay, we're gonna be best friends now. I'm sorry if you didn't realize that, but we're about to be best friends. So like I've connected with, there's always like Fourth Room Brewing, which actually I helped get him on Mixer. There's Jordan Lane and Manta DeRay who both do music. Kimbo Weenie does art. Zollifer does art. But yeah, I try to be friends with every single artist on Mixer, and like it's awesome. It's growing, but I feel like since all of us can relate to stuff, but this is our.
All right. Yep. Let's pull up the Yoda here.
There he is.
Oh gosh. Yep. Okay, that's fantastic. You seen that Yoda going around with somebody photoshopped all the wrinkles off of Yoda? That's one of my favorite things I've seen this
Smooth Yoda.
week.
Oh, which reminds me.
Smooth Yoda is great.
So I tried to find like I was trying to find Smooth Yoda to show people in my stream the other day, and I found oh shucks, where is he? Anyway, I found a GIF of like somebody made like a puppet of him in something, like a digital puppet, and it was just him dancing.
Terrifying.
Like Smooth Yoda, like he has smooth dance moves. But I enjoyed that, so like I
sounds great.
I kept that.
Yeah. So whenever people say the name body painting, sometimes I can get the wrong idea.
Oh
Maybe
yeah.
think Sports Illustrated for that.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever come into your stream and been awfully disappointed whenever you say that you're a body painting streamer? And then how do you deal with any trolls that would naturally arise from that situation?
I feel like we're used to a lot of it. My bot now has stuff like, like naked and tits, like a bunch of like the naughtier words are just like instantly
Yeah.
removed. Sometimes you get kids that are genuinely confused. So like we've come to like kind of read the situation where it's like sometimes
Okay.
it's a kid that's just like, hey, I don't mean to be rude, but like, do you do full body? And we have to explain no. Mixer is
Yeah.
way more conservative about what can be displayed during a body paint stream than Twitch
Yeah.
is, which is like one of the drawbacks because I feel like also like there was that whole discussion with, I don't know if you saw the thing with Captain Insanity where like he was doing digital paint.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
great debate, exactly. Yeah, he was doing digital paint of a nude character. It was not a sexual piece, but the woman in
Right.
it was nude. And a staff member that decided to take the rules for an actual person and apply it to his art.
Yeah.
Decided to suspend his stream, and it was this whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so like
That's
right now I feel like when it comes to like not safe for work artwork and for body paint, Mixer is kind of like Twitch earlier in the days, like when Twitch was still fresh for like creative
Yeah.
streams. And it's understandable because I feel like on the regular we might have like, I don't know, more kids surfing around creative than maybe Twitch does. But it's just like I feel like it's still pretty young. But we try to explain it. You can kind of read the intent right away. Like I had
Yeah.
this dude try to get unbanned. He found my personal Facebook and he messaged me and he was
Yeah.
like,
That'll do
he
it.
found I don't know how he found my personal, but he found
Yeah.
it and he messaged me and he's like, can you find it in your heart to unban me? And I was like, yeah, what happened? And he was like, I came into your body paint stream and I liked it and I told you to pan the camera down. And I was like, yeah, that's no.
No. Yeah. No. You stand out.
Like,
Is that the creepiest interaction you've had with you?
oh, that's funny. No. Let's see. Well, there have been armpit guys.
Go on.
The armpit guys that sometimes they'll just ask to see your armpit. Sometimes they'll like message after being like, "Hey, can you not?"
I didn't know that was the thing. I think my life was better before I knew that was the thing. All right.
Sometimes like I got a message from a dude asking me to like not shave for a week and then send him a picture of my armpits. There's just like you get some creative. Oh, and then I got a DM from a dude early in my creative like Mixer life, and he was like, "I will pay you if you take a video of yourself and another girl barefoot and you throw pies in each other's faces." I switch trying to show up kids and such. Yeah, right. But yeah,
How much money was he offering you?
I didn't ask. Like
Okay.
he was just like I'm willing to pay you.
Nah, you gotta leave with the amount if you're gonna convince somebody to do that. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. And then there was one that was like he wanted a picture of me with a specific T-shirt on, just sitting in a bathtub, like with the T-shirt on. And I'm still
okay.
Damn it, Nate.
You're right. I am more and more thankful that I am a male on this website as this
Yeah.
conversation
Oh
goes
yeah,
on.
no, my poor mods. They've seen some things. And then when I used to do, fun fact, if you're a female and you it's called like hyper coloring when you have like crazy hair colors. Like I used to have blue and green and white. You will on the regular get dudes coming in saying, "Can I put my dick in your hair?" It's just like a guarantee if you have hyper-colored hair. Ever since I've gone natural, it doesn't really happen anymore. But it happened pretty regularly, along with the feet guys. Used to come around
see,
a lot
I at
more.
least knew about that one. I did not know about the dick in the hair thing.
Yeah, Purple, you haven't gotten
My wife
those
just got
yet.
me a great look on that. I'll explain it to her later.
It's the new
Oh
email.
man.
But yeah, no, there have been some really creative ones. And then when I posted some of my work to like Imgur and stuff, like if I have a bald cap on, you usually get guys that are into bald chicks and they'll be messaging me like, "So are you really bald?"
You just rip off the hat and stare at him, yeah.
Yeah. And then whatchamacallit, there's a lot of people asking for personal body paints that are like fully topless. People get bold when they hear that I do body paint. They make a lot of assumptions. Like the only reason I am on 18 is just because it's the requirement. I'm very PG. I never swear. Sometimes I have like innuendos and stuff with my friends and whatnot, but it's not like, it's enough for teen to be okay with it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know. Yeah, I don't think any of you guys have heard me swear. Like if I swear, it's never for fun. It's like
I
something
feel like
really
I was
serious.
watching some of your stream. You said like biscuits or something on it. I'm
Oh
like,
yeah, I
okay,
have like
that's the kind of that's
I
what we're
say
going for.
sugar and farts and poop. Like those are mine. But
Does that come
yeah.
from being a parent, or does that come from just
Oh,
the
in
way you've
my
been raised?
the household I grew up in, you did not swear. That was a huge no-no. So like
Yeah,
it never became a part of my vocabulary. And then when I hit high school and like I had friends that kind of swore, like we had this attitude until I was like 18. Like all my friends, we thought that people who swore were losers because they couldn't think of better words to use. So it
yeah.
just like by the time I was an adult, it just was not a part of my vocabulary. Zolliford is responsible for Yoda. That was who I was talking about.
Ah.
He's responsible for our responsible for Yoda. He is. Um, but yeah, you get some.
Yeah.
That's why like anytime I know a girl who's gonna like start streaming on Mixer. Like even though Mixer I feel like is more like it eases you into the water a bit more calmly than it did for me. Like when I tried Twitch, like my first stream, I was like immediate gross. But on Mixer, like the community is a bit calmer, and then you have to I don't know,
Yeah.
it's a bit calmer. I still tell every female streamer, you get yourself a mod. Just like one, even if it's just like I don't know, like your mom casually watching or a brother or whatever. Willis,
Yeah,
toxic.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it also did, like the creative community on Twitch is freaking delightful. I feel like it's a lot healthier than maybe like most of the gaming community on Twitch. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
I'm friends with like I'm friends with gamies on the Twitchies. I'm still friends with like gamers on Twitch and stuff, but I feel
Yeah.
like the creative community is way healthier than the gaming community. But I feel like that might be like everywhere though.
All right, you start wrapping up here a little bit. So I could sit here and talk for more hours, but I'm very hungry. I haven't eaten yet.
Oh
And
yeah.
we've gone for an hour already at this point.
Oh yeah. That's what
So real
happens
quick,
when
does your family ever get involved in your streams?
No, I would like it though, but no, they don't. I've been trying to sort out. So I did a Zenyatta inspired body paint, and I really wanted to do, but it's gonna take like 9 or 10 hours minimum to do like the Zenyatta paint that I want. And my husband is a Zenyatta main, and he's
Tells me a lot about him as a person.
Yeah,
Good.
he's
Good things.
tall and lean, so he's like a really good Zenyatta shape. But we have a toddler, so it'd be really difficult. But I would just love to paint on somebody on stream.
Yeah. That would be interesting. So you wouldn't have to like sit here. Is it hard to like? Do you have a mirror or something, or you just have to look
I
down?
have this tiny, it's like half cracked, but it's like this cheapo little mirror that falls off. And what I do is, it's so high tech. What I do, I balance it on my water cup, and I paint like that.
That's
but
funny.
yeah, it's really difficult at first because your hands are like, what the heck are you doing? This is wrong. Like your hands do not know what to do. It's really, it's like it's mind breaking. At first, and you have to train yourself. Also, it's weird. Like I've been trying to train myself to paint with my left. My dominant is right, and as a body painter, you're supposed to learn how to be like ambidextrous because reasons. You have like this whole other side to deal with.
Yeah.
Bibliography is it's so awkward at first. It for sure is.
So, we'll start signing off here with the question I like asking everybody. Rate your own channel on a scale of 1 to 10. Like as an impartial reviewer reviewing yourself, how would you rate yourself? And then what is something that you would like to improve going forward?
Man, it might sound kind of full of it, but I kind of like 9 out of 10. I feel like there's that.
We've gotten responses all over, by the way.
Hey,
like
man.
5s to 10s, so you're fine.
20 out of 10. I love it. I feel like the heart of my community is so good, and that's one of my favorite things is like the communities that I really loved that I was a part of. It was built on don't yuck my yum, and by don't yuck my yum, it means someone can come in, and if they have a different opinion than you, if it's not hurting anything, then you don't shame anybody for anything. You don't cut them down for something that they love. If you have a criticism, like you're welcome to criticize anything that I do. There's a cool way to say it. There's like a nice way to say it. You can recommend an alternative. And I feel like just trying to constantly put on don't yuck my yum as like the entire theme of this. Like also just being silly. Because like crap has happened to me, like, you know, like losing a job that I really liked, and then like I had a miscarriage, and like some rougher stuff has happened, and being silly has always been the healthiest thing possible. I feel like we've done a really good job of like be kind and be silly. I really like that.
Yeah. I feel like you'd make a great children's entertainer.
When I worked at Toys R Us, they used to tell me that I should be like a kindergarten teacher or something. Yeah, however, we are lacking consistency. A lot of streams are lacking structure.
Okay.
They could be all over the place.
Yeah.
I feel like if I had them better planned out, we wouldn't default to wackiness so often. And wackiness is really cool. But like as we're getting more serious and like I'm inching towards like sponsorships and stuff, like I want to be more professional.
Right.
So I feel like my streams are a little too all over the place. And I feel like we need to be more organized and maybe a bit more professional.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I feel like there's always room for improvement though. Yeah, I'm right now. I'm extremely proud of the people that have like been drawn to the community.
All right. Cool. So before we head off here, there'll be two more things. First, is there anything you want to plug? Do you have any cool merch that you want to show off? Anything? I do
have merch. Is that the command for it? I think I have a merch room.
Okay.
Also, I'm currently on the front page of like facepaint.com right now. No big deal. But yeah, those are, and then eventually I'm going to be doing tutorials on YouTube. I don't have anything right now. No big deal, but I'm on the freaking front page of Facebook right now. But yes.
All right, cool. So we'll sign off here. What is your, well, I'm not really sure where to go with this question. I was going to say, what is your dream character that you'd want to create? But you've already talked about wanting to create characters for different streamers that are your friends. Yeah. So if I say, look at my face and turn me into a weird character, do you have any ideas that pop out? If not, we're going to change it and be about somebody else that people might know.
I could see doing something like Ryan Reynolds on you. Let me see. I mean, he kind of looks like, I'm getting like, if Ryan Seacrest and Ryan Reynolds had a baby. Yeah, see?
I think you were way overselling me here.
Like, I feel like we could get away with Deadpool. I would say Green Lantern, but maybe we shouldn't talk about Ryan Reynolds doing Green Lantern. Yeah, I could totally see Deadpool working out. Okay.
All right, let's go for something a little more monstery then. Let's try somebody else. Let's say you get to paint. Okay, who's your favorite celebrity?
My favorite celebrity.
Or just a favorite. Tom Hanks. You get to turn Tom Hanks into a monster for a movie. What does he look like, and what is the like general structure or plot of this movie?
I really love, and I have it in my brain at least. I haven't seen it done the way I want to do it. I really love when you make human skin look like other textures. I would want him to look like a walking jigsaw puzzle, like his limbs and everything are like puzzle pieces.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Maybe you could get away with some kind of like Night at the Museum crap. Like maybe, what if it's like a future where like people are lonely and you could like build a man and you could like buy a kit and then you could build your own Tom Hanks. I would really love to figure out my own way. I think that's the plot of
the movie Her. You just wrote the sequel to Her.
Exactly. It's her. It's just like, it's him.
Yeah.
You can Hanks me later.
Yay! That's it. That's it. We're going out of that pun. All right. Thank you everybody for watching. There's no better way to end than on that fantastic pun. Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate having you here.
Yeah,
Sorry to keep you
Thank you.
for like 60 minutes over what I said we would do, but I enjoyed it.
Never expect to finish on time with me. That's gonna like.
That's
go
okay.
triple.
That's all right. All right. I'll let you go then. Thank you very much again. Yeah, everybody here, y'all probably already know who she is, but go check her out. She's a good time.
Everybody have a good
take care, guys.
week.